Big boy. Anyway, walking down here, and it's like, this is early, like it's 7 o'clock. No, it's not even 7, it's like 10 past 6. And walking down here, I'm mesmerized because normally, right, you would think that all these, this is gonna prove a point, that motorcycles and Vespas and stuff, that there should be fewer of them, during autumn. But here, for some reason, it's like, no, let's put them all out. Because when I was here during the summer, when it was summer, it wasn't this bad. Like, I could, but now I hear them all night and stuff, and it's like, okay, fine, whatever, right? But anyway, walking down here, because I'm just some blocks away from the real place I want to show you. This is just a very beautiful building. I was listening to this song, and the chorus of it goes something like, "I told you from the start, rock and roll will break your heart." And it's what they call the Fratellis song. The Fratellis, that's the name of the band. And you will see what I mean when I tell this story, but we can start walking. The thing is, like, how do I explain this? I've always been interested in like mythological entities ever since I was a kid. And my dad told me about all the Valar from the Silmarillion. And for those of you that don't know, the Valar are like the god, like the archangels in the Tolkien legendarium. I mean, they are supposed to be like more like gods, but since he was a Catholic, I guess he would have liked the expression gods more, or archangels more. So today I wanted to talk about one of these gods. So like Greece, like many other European places, have their own, as you know, more famous mythology than my own country of Sweden, right? Although all the anime bros just go insane as soon as they... Sorry, it is. But I mean, it's early morning, so... But what I was gonna say was that all the anime bros goes crazy as the second they hear about Asken Yggdrasil, the life tree that connects everything. They just go crazy and then make 50,000 different fucking animes about it. And they're all... There's just one of them that is really cool that I've seen. The rest of them are like really just strange and get it all wrong. Oh look, it's a creepy lady again. But the thing is, like, it's interesting to hear about which, how to say, mythological creature is the most scariest one. I mean, it's so strange for it, because in my country it's like you look upon our gods and you think, oh yeah, these are kind of cool, they are pretty cool and kind of cool to meet them. But it's but in Greece, man, like I will tell you, I will show you what I mean and talk about it, but it's like the complete opposite. And I'm just like, I find it so interesting. Like, who the fuck wants to worship these guys? Like, you're gonna die. Like, if they show up, you're gone. That's it. So we are here. This is beyond impressive, actually. I don't know if I don't know, like, every time you go to these sort of places, you feel like... What I was gonna say is that when you go to these sort of places, you feel... I don't know, like... When it's this impressive, you feel like, am I even allowed to be here? It feels like these places like have this, I don't know, aura of, are you sure you're allowed to be here? Because I mean, I'm half expecting some guard to show up to me and like be, oh yeah, you're not supposed to be here. You, like, for no particular reason, like I wouldn't even be I wouldn't, even argue with him. Like, yeah, you're probably right, I'm not allowed to be here. Even though it's, open area and stuff. But I did see some guards and stuff, but... Anyway, there you have him, looming over the city. Apollo. This is so cool. And up there, I should have. I made an error. I should have been way more careful, like looking up, more who everyone is and everything. So excuse me for 1 second while I do that. So, to clarify, what had happened was that I had literally just googled Apollo statue because I wanted to check it out. So when I found the one on Google, I had walked by a similar plaza that had a podium on it. So I thought it was going to be that plaza with just this plaza and then, a totem and on it Apollo, right? But that was not what happened at all. And that's sort of what I'm schizoposting about right now in the video. I just wanted to clarify that. And then this is also why it turns into a larger schizopost about the Greek mythology. Or not Greek mythology, sorry, the Greek gods and their pantheon. So there, did some quick research, which I should have done before I got here. It's the Athens Academy of Arts, which is, one of the most famous, probably, institutions in the world. But anyway, so sorry about that, but here we go. Plato, Athena, Socrates, and Apollo. So it's really cool because you have the musician and the defender, right? And then, I'm just standing here in awe. It's amazing. Like this is like, the birthing place of the Western world. Because you have a musician, a defender, and then great philosophers. And again, I'm so angry that I didn't do more research because there is something to be said about this composition, of course. That you have the defender on the left, the musician on the right, and then, Plato and Socrates sitting beneath them. There's something to say about that. But anyway, I came here to talk about Apollo, so I'm gonna go and find somewhere more quiet where I can discuss it.
Final rule. It's called pet a cat when you encounter one on the street, and it's the most personal chapter in the book. I talk a little bit about this cat that's across the street named Ginger. Ginger is this.
So this is the best I can do. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But now moving on from my fuck up there. What I really wanted to talk about is how strange it is, that you have, on one hand, like my culture, you have these gods that you look up to, Christianity is like the reigning religion, of course, but, before you had like Thor, Odin, and Thor with his hammer, Mjolnir. It's cool stuff, it's inspiring stuff even, because, for example, you have this story about how every time there's thunder, it's Thor hunting giants with his giant hammer. And that here, it's I mean, I don't want to be bleak, but I've been talking to Greek people, and they say the same thing, that you don't fuck around with their gods. Like, you don't. I mean, to give an example, like, there was Athena. Once, I'm gonna do a bigger video of her. She, like, turned a girl into a spider because she was a better weaver than her. Sort of. Like, it's more complicated than that, but she felt sorry for her and turned into a spider, and it just feels like this would make things worse. Don't you agree? But I'm gonna talk about Apollo now, the story I read about Apollo that inspired me to go and find his statue, right? There was this faun, I think, either a man or a faun, and what he did was that he took up a discarded flute from Athena. She had just discarded a flute. So he picked it up and, played the flute really well. And then he said, oh yeah, I can play the flute better than Apollo. And, the god of music, right? So Apollo appears and say, okay, so play the flute better than me, but play it upside down. And obviously you can't, there's something to do with it, but the point of it being that he loses this, challenge. And, normally you would be there might be a lesson here, but no. Apollo just straight up skins him alive. And it's like, well, what is this? Because this is saying that since Apollo and Athena are the children of Zeus, they are very prideful. But I mean, so it's like only the gods can be prideful, but men cannot. I was trying so hard. The reason I'm so stuck on this is that because stories are like how we move forward, right? And we make sense of the world. But I don't see the point of like straight up murdering someone for just challenging one of the gods. Because I mean, it's not like, the Norse gods didn't do a lot of fuckery. They did, don't get me wrong, but I mean, this is so violent and so... But the point of all this is simply this. That I find it interesting that the worst, like the most horrifying mythological creatures in Greece are their own gods. Whereas in like Sweden and stuff, it's, creatures like the fairy, that is, or Elva, sorry, it's fairy and Elva are not the same thing. They're similar, but anyway, it's a whole, let's just call it fairy for now, to make it more easier. They are like the most horrifying creatures, right? And then you obviously have the kraken and like sea creatures and stuff, but I just find it interesting that here they're gods, people that should look out for you, Because I mean, yeah. But yeah, as normally I'm gonna go get some coffee and stuff, but thanks for now.